Rumor has it that Caleb Wilson wants to be a Chicago Bull. Is he the obvious pick at 4? And then we got to talk about if the Chicago Bulls are willing to trade back into the first round for a third first round pick. And then we're going to talk about how the NBA draft odd changes impact the Chicago Bulls. Y'all know we're going to talk about it, break it all down, but you got to hear the music first. Cognac, gang. Our Boys podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby. And guess what? I am with my dog, C-Dub. What's the word?
What up, nephew, man? Hey, man, we get closer to that draft, man. Hey, I can't wait till this new Bulls team gets on the ground running, bro. I can't wait.
For sure. And if y'all tuned in like what you're hearing today, don't freeload. Support the channel in the easiest way that you can. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, because we on our road to 10K. It's easy to do it. Boop, boop. I know it's on your screen. Just boop, boop, and you good to go. C-Dub, I'm a little hurt today, bro.
Why you hurt?
Both of my girls, they left, bro. They gone for the night. They gone.
You
they
hurt?
went to Chicago, bro. I'm hurt, bro.
You hurt, bro?
I love my girls, bro. They're my girls.
You got some me time today.
I do. I'm gonna appreciate that, but at the same time, bro, I'm a little hurt. That's my girls, man. I don't like being without them, not being able to protect them. You know what I'm saying? It's just something different.
You get them 5 or 10 more years, you're gonna call it me time. You're gonna be ecstatic.
I get a lot of me time. You know how much we be on this pod. Come on, man. But hey, let's jump right into it. C-Dub. Caleb Wilson. Rumor has it that he really wants to be a Chicago Bull. The source is coming from one of our own. You know what I'm saying? And there are some rumors that are surrounding this whole entire thing. It is rumored that Caleb Wilson wants to be a Chicago Bull. If he receives the nod from the Chicago Bulls, he would not work out for other teams or whatnot. First and foremost, C-Dub, how are you looking at some of these rumors right now?
I'm looking at these rumors, this recent rumors about Caleb Wilson, and I'm thinking to myself, here it is. Here is the evidence that I need. This is a starting point to get rid of the narrative that the Chicago Bulls is not a place that people want to come and play. I just thought that was the craziest thing to hear from people. We're a big city. It's the city of Michael Jordan. Derrick Rose is beloved across basketball universe. The city of Chicago is like Miami's Canada. It just get cold in the winter. That's the only thing with Chicago. But in the summertime, it can compete with any city in the world. In the world. I didn't say United States, in the world. You got business opportunities. You got Montes Buzelis. You got Josh Giddey. You got, it looks like Michael Reinsdorf. He wants to be a great franchise again, the way he's talking. My first thought, nephew, is this is the first evidence to kill that narrative that nobody wants to play in Chicago.
I think that's a great way to look at it. If Caleb Wilson wants to be a Chicago Bull, I want him to be a Chicago Bull. Now, we know that the discussion over the last few weeks has came down to Cam Boozer or Caleb Wilson. Me personally, I'm cool with either one, but if there is one guy clamoring to be in Chicago, I'm gonna side with him just a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? And I think that'd be a great addition to have for Chicago. And you know what I'm saying? I think that'd be a great start for the front office and Bryson Graham to go out there and really supplant himself and hit the ground running. And I think that's imperative to have people want to come to Chicago. And C-Dub, we talking about a city of Chicago that is perfectly mapped out and glorifies its beauty. There is no downtown that I have visited in Atlanta, in Charlotte, North Carolina, in Dallas, Texas. I've been in Virginia. There's no downtown that can compete with Chicago's downtown, bro. Top tier, most definitely. And if you want to come over here and see Dub, I'll say this. Why can't we have two great Caleb's in the city of Chicago? We got one already. Caleb
See,
Wilson. If you want to come and join, we gonna call you C Dub. C Dub and C Ball. Let's go.
And then on another note, nephew, he might be looking at his mix with the players already here. He might love playing on the floor with a guy like Josh Giddey, who's a pass first guy. Really was having a great season last year before the injury. He's looking at that like, I know I'm going to get the basketball. Montes Buzelis. You're looking at what Montes Buzelis could potentially be in the future and what his skill set will add to Montes Buzelis. I just love what I'm hearing from this kid. And if this is true, you get this kid in here, even though he's not my first overall choice in this upcoming draft. But hey, man, if Caleb want to come, you let him come. Okay, my first overall choice is Darren Peterson. I know it's a far-fetched choice, but Caleb Wilson, I think he's going to be special throughout his career, nephew. He's going to be special.
I agree with it. And then as soon as we start recording, my neighbor decides he wants to cut his grass. So excuse the noise in the background, ladies and gentlemen, if you can't hear it. But nonetheless, C-Dub, there's another part to what one of our sources has said. C-Dub, we should feel very important that we have sources.
Sources, baby.
Hey, you want to know what I'm saying? The crazy
came a long way.
The sources, the source told us that Sean Sweeney was in the lead running for the Magic job.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we can't reveal our sources. I'm sorry. We just have to go out there and say this. But C-Dub, the next part to it is that the Bulls are possibly looking to trading back into the first round for an additional first round pick. How are you feeling about that?
I think it's genius, nephew, from the coming from Bryson. I think it's very genius. If you look into the future and how the draft is going to go, we got new rules. It's the 3-2-1 draft rule. They laid the outline out of how it's going to go, but you really don't know how it's going to go. So I suggest it could be positive or negative for you. And especially in a position the Chicago Bulls are right now. They're in a rebuild stage. You might not be able to add on to the team in upcoming years. So it would behest you to take a full advantage of a draft that is probably 1 through 25, really, really fucking deep. Really fucking deep. You should be able to find something really decent. And if you can sneak 3 first-round draft picks out of the top 25, oh, man, Bryson, you already getting golded. I think it's an incredible idea, Bryson. If you can make it happen, you have gained a lot of equity from me, and I think you will gain a lot of equity from Chicago Bulls fans. Great idea.
I also believe that is a great idea as well for the Chicago Bulls, because me and you had a discussion, and I believe it was the last time we were on together yesterday, and we talked about we don't know how the front office feels about next year's draft. Right now, C-Dub, just for context and for the people that's wondering, there are 38 players that returned to college that were a part of the NBA Combine. So those guys are going to go back and, you know what I'm saying, probably try to raise their stock a little bit. But everybody knows that this draft is, quote unquote, a generational draft. You have the top 4, but then you have others that's out of that top 4 in Keaton Wagler, out of Ade Mara, out of Michael Brown, and so on and so forth, and even can find some other guys down the road, down the line, Morez Johnson, your Cam Cars of the world, et cetera, and they might be saying, let's go and grab as many players out of this draft as we can because next year the pickings might be a little bit thin. So I'm with you 100% on that, that maybe you do need to go out there and, you know what I'm saying, try to strike gold as much as possible in this draft. See, Doug, we looked at the San Antonio Spurs beat the Oklahoma City Thunder yesterday. Great game, by the way. And you look at 6 players that they drafted: Keldon Johnson, Vassell, Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, Wembenyama, and I'm forgetting one, but they drafted all these guys that contributed to the success of the team this year. This is a young man sport. We got to make sure that we grab as many prospects as possible out of this draft. And with new information, like I'm starting to lean on, hey, maybe you can get rid of some first round assets from 2027 if that's your belief that you're not really excited about 2027's draft. I have to be open minded about that opportunity, bro. I have to be. I know what I would do, but I will have to be open minded about that.
And I am glad that you got to this point, nephew. It took you a couple months to get to this point, but I'm glad that you are there. Obviously, the Chicago Bulls should be careful about future draft picks, especially first round draft picks. But the object of drafting said person is to get somebody that's going to impact your team that given year. But who's to say you're supposed to hold that? If you see somebody that can impact your team right now, you use those that value, the asset that you have, the draft pick that you had to get the guy that you want. You don't gotta hold on to it. Trade it. Go get the guys you think that can make your franchise better. So it's okay to hold them sometimes, but when you see something that you want and you know it's gonna help your team, you do what you can to go and get them. You keep thinking this is football. This is not football.
What does this have to do with football?
You're
It's
a
just
football guy, and sometimes you guys like you hold draft picks to the same light that you hold draft picks in football. It's not the same.
no, it depends on where the state of the team is. It has nothing to do with the two different sports.
Absolutely.
It has to do with the position of the team.
So okay, so you're saying if it's the OKC Thunder, you wouldn't be so stubborn with using draft picks to garner assets. That's what you're saying.
But my point is that I'm not trading out of fourth. I'm not trading up. I'm not trading out of fourth.
Why wouldn't you trade up?
I don't need to, because for the whole sake of the discussion is those top 4 players are franchise changing players. You can't go wrong with any one of them. I'm not trading out of that. I'm cool with that. If I want to, my position has always been, if you want to move up from 15, do so. I'm cool with that. It's never been, I'm going to stand firm on staying at 4. 15, I'm willing to move up, willing to move back off of that. Now I'm adding in another caveat and saying, if you want to get back into the first round, I'm willing to garner the first round pick of 2027, but I'm not doing it to move from 4 to 1. I want as many players in this draft as possible is my position.
Okay, this is the only question I have. What is your number 1 player on your board?
At 4 or at 15 or
that's the number 1 player on the board. You think it's the best player the number 1 player on the board. If you had your choice, and it doesn't matter if we got the number 4 slot. If you had your choice to pick the player, who are you picking?
I'm gonna go with Wilson.
Okay, then I understand where you're coming from. Then
I would love Cam Carr.
See, I know where you're coming from now. Because if I had the same powers you had, I would pick Darren Peterson. But the way it's set up, and I would trade up for Darren Peterson with a 4 what 1, 2, 3, whatever you want to do, swap. And I think we could do it with a player and some second round picks or a future first round pick. I would do it. But if you saying it's Caleb Wilson from the jump, and that's the first guy that you want off the board without even have it in the numerical order, then I understand where you're coming from. Then I
Yeah, and
understand.
the reason is because I don't think you can go wrong with Cam Boozer. Is just that I believe the person with the higher ceiling is Caleb Wilson. The player that, like, if it come down to Cam Boozer and Caleb Wilson right now, Cam Boozer is more prepared, in my opinion. But who has the higher ceiling is Caleb Wilson. So I would rather bank on the guy with the higher ceiling because he does have a game that is ready for NBA basketball. He just needs to tailor it and develop a little bit more. That's the
Yeah.
only position when it comes to down to the number 4 pick.
And also I want to note that his floor isn't that much lower than Cam's. Like a
I would
lot of
agree with
people
that.
like to
I
say
would
that
agree with that.
it is higher than Caleb's.
Agree.
Cam's is higher, but I think Caleb
It's
Wilson
not
will
that
also.
far off.
It ain't that far off. He also have a really good first year as a Chicago boy wherever he plays. I still think he can make the all rookie team and all that. I just think Cam Boozer be more ready, but it
Yeah.
ain't that far off. It
I
ain't.
agree with that. That's a hell of a statement to make, and I think
Yeah,
that's 100% true. At least for
yeah.
me. Y'all let us know how y'all feeling down about it. Well thought out conversation between myself and C Dub. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because we're moving on to the last topic of the day. C Dub, the NBA made some changes. And those changes of the draft lottery, they will shrink the odds for the top 3 teams. First and foremost, the NBA will now expand the lottery from 14 teams to 16 teams. They will penalize the top 3 teams. They will go from 14% down to 5.4%. The teams that are in the top 4 through 10, odds will be flattened to 8.1%. 11 through 14, all flat at 5.4%. And the play-in losers in the Western Conference and Eastern Conference will fall between 2.7%. Just to provide context for this discussion, this is obviously a Chicago Bulls podcast. So C-Dub, how do you believe these changes to the draft lottery affects the Chicago Bulls? Does it help them positively or negatively in your evaluation?
That's a great question, nephew. I don't think anybody ever tried to answer this question with both. I'm gonna answer this question with both. Uh Positively, it helps the Bulls because you're gonna have less competition um trying to vie for those players that can impact your franchises in the future. Uh the NBA killed just outright coming into the season and just trying to lose your way to a good player. They just killed it. I applaud them for that. It's not perfect, but they killed that. Negatively, you lose a way that you can build your team. I just to be honest, that's a way that most teams went about building their teams. So it's a positive and a negative. I didn't like it personally, so I give the NBA a nod of actually killing just coming into the season. We're gonna lose as much as possible to get the best player available. And positive and the other way, negatively, you lose a resource. That's the way like the go-to that teams did to rebuild their team. Lose as much as possible, which I like, but it is a negative. You don't have that tool in the tool shed. Now front offices is going to have to do their job. They're going to have to really do their job. Look at this, nephew. Well, look at what do you say? You're going to have to do your job like everybody else. So do your fucking job.
I agree with a lot of that. The way that I look at it is that this is definitely something that we're going to be gauging for the next 3 seasons because it's only a trial for that. But it is necessary because a lot of the times when we talk about tanking, let's keep it real. It's not the biggest, it's not the only flaw with the NBA game that we love. We're talking about load management, we're talking about flopping, we're talking about tanking. So it's one of the things that they're really trying to harp on, and I commend them for that. Nothing is ever going to be perfect, like you stated, but I think for the sake of discussion And when we talked about it on Horns Over Who podcast with my man Sal, shout out to Sal, by the way. We talked about like, hey, yes, is going to incentivize those bottom 3 teams to go out there and compete to get in the top 4 through 10. But what about the teams that are 11 through 14 that want better odds and then they start losing? Let's
weird.
say, for the sake of discussion, the team is currently ranked at 11 or 12. And they see like, hey, X team, we only 2 games ahead of them in the rankings to move to the top 10. What will they do? They're still going to tank. So it's not going to be perfect, to your point, but it does. We're going to have to really hone in and see this. And if this help the Chicago Bulls at the end of the day? I say, yeah, for a team that have been play-in champs, play-in champs, play-in, not champs, play-in nominees. We've been play-in nominees. This right here helps the Chicago Bulls, at least for that. But I think that the whole thing is something that we're going to have to wait and see, because to your point, nothing is perfect, bro.
It's not perfect, and we don't have a president because this is the first year, so we're gonna have to see what happens. I do think this is gonna hurt a lot of NBA teams. It's gonna hurt them because they small market. They already a shitty team, and and the new rules made it difficult to rebuild and build a contending team. So I'm interested also in watching teams like Washington, who need to start winning now because your time running out for being actual teams that people take seriously, because those rules is going to hamper teams like that, like Memphis. If they don't get their shit together, they going to be in the dumps. You got to get your shit together. You can't just tank and like tank all the way. You can tank, but it's dicey. We don't know how it's going to land. So it's gonna be interesting watching how
you
this.
Don't want to be a bottom team in this league no more.
You don't,
because your odds are only at 5.4%, while everybody else at the 4 through 10 is at 8%.
Bro, it's a start. Maybe we could just call it's a start. Maybe they'll modify and edit the rules as it goes. They'll modify.
I agree with that. I think that's a way to go with it. I think it's honestly, nothing is ever going to be perfect, but this is how you tell those teams, Washington Wizards, Utah Jazz, stop being ass and do your job. Like that. This is what this rule tells me, that stop being ass and do your job.
Yeah.
Do your job. We know that some of these locations that where you're located at is probably not appeasing to certain people. It does not mean you can't draft homegrown players and make them want to remain with the organization that changed their life. Do your fucking job.
Nephew, when these leagues make these rules, it's usually over a big name. It's usually named because it's a situation with a big name or after a big name, like the Tuck rule with Tom Brady. I'm going to ask you, this 3-2-1 rule, is it a Utah Jazz rule?
Probably not. I think it's a money move. You want to know why? Because billions of dollars is getting paid to the NBA. Bro, just think of the streaming services. Amazon Prime, Peacock, NBC, ESPN. They pouring in billions to have your product on their platform. And they like, we're expecting the game to include Giannis Antetokounmpo. We're expecting the game to include Larry Marketing. We're expecting games to include Steph Curry. These guys, no way. Some of it's due to injury. I'm going to keep it a buck. But at the end of the day, it's billions. And these guys is like, we need our consumers to see the top players. Stop bullshitting.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is.
And you're absolutely right. But I think two things can be conjoined, or they can mean the same. I think the Utah Jazz have been the most obnoxious, egregious team the last couple of years. You just said a couple instances, and now we go ahead and we fine print Tom Brady's name under that Tuck rule. Fact. I think you fine print the Utah Jazz under this 3-2-1 rule. It ain't just them, but they made the fucking rule come about, bro. It was them.
I think it's possible, bro. I think it make a lot of sense. For sure.
Yeah.
But hey, man, you got anything left?
Hey man, make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. We gonna get to 10K any day.
On the
Let's rock.
real. And that C Dub freestyling because Jay-Z just dropped bombs. You know what I mean? We freestyling all day, C Dub. I ain't gonna hold you, man.
Nephew, before we go, what Chad Holmgren doing right now?
Chad Hunger.
Yeah.
He in a at an appointment with the therapist to figure out how he can regain his manhood back.
I think every time he passed a tree, he jumped.
But hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of Shy Bulls Podcast. Before you get up out of here, 2-step process to help us to get to that 10K. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Very, very easy, man. And let us know your thoughts down below about today's topics. We appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all always see red. Y'all already know. Me and C Dub gonna catch y'all on the next one for sure. Peace. Cognac.